Hey, welcome to the next to the last day of the Lather games. I am getting my gear ready, and today's brush is one I've never used on my face before. I've used it on my palm to make test lathers with just kind of bar soap. It is a whipped dog. You may recognize the handle shape if you ever had one of their handles. It's the 30mm Boar brush. I have enjoyed their 24mm Boar brush for all of August of last year during austere August, and I really like their Boar. And so I'm pretty sure I'm going to like this one as well. Now it doesn't, look how narrow kind of it is. It's almost bigger on the bottom than it is on the top, but it does have a lot of hair. And so right now it's very wet because I just finished soaking it for a while, several hours, since I haven't used it on my face yet. And so I'm going to get it back into the water just so that when it comes time I can shake the water out of it and have the right amount of water in it that I want. All right. The soap for today. We have to go along with the theme of the Lather games, and today's soap is Williams Mug Soap, because the theme is a soap that you can get at a grocery store or drugstore that's available. So for me, in my local area, I do have one grocery store that carries Williams. Otherwise, I would have to use something like Neutrogena or maybe some kind of Nivea, product. If I went to some nicer grocery stores, I think there's some like Bulldog products or Everyman Jack. Sometimes there are those kind of things. But this is a real soap, and it's been used for a very long time by dudes just like me. Now, my successful interactions with Williams have, because I used it all of August last year, have led me down a couple of different paths. And one I am going to do tonight, a successful, convenient way to lather Williams and get a great lather from it. If you think it's airy and makes your skin itch, light and not creamy, then you haven't done it right. Put it that way. So what I want to do, I just put 2 teaspoons of water from using my syringe in there. On the puck, I'm going to go ahead and put another half. Because what's going to do is that's going to soften the hard soap, because this soap hasn't been used in a month or something. And it is, if you don't have a syringe, how are you going to measure that? Well, it seems to be roughly 4 millimeters above the surface of the soap. And there's a little bit of gap on the side, but in general, that's what we're dealing with here. So just put a little amount there because, and here's why I measure it, I'm going to pour that into my lather bowl, and that's going to be water that I use for the lather. And so right now that water is getting inundated with little soap molecules, and so we're going to conserve that soap slurry. I'm not going to let it sit for a long time. We don't need to. Some people don't like to lather any soap, but I do like to pre-soak any soap. However, I do. So the truly hard soaps like Williams, Prix de Provence, Tabac, Fine, all of those truly hard soaps, I do soak before the shave, just for as long as it takes me to get all my gear ready. Okay. To keep in line with the theme, in this case, of something classic, something vintage that's been around for a long time, we're going to step back with a gorgeous vintage Gillette razor. This is a new deluxe. Gillette new deluxe. Not new as in it was just made, or new to me, but Gillette called it the new, because I guess the previous one was the old type. It was a horrible way to name it, but they did. And we in shaving express it by doing it all caps, and that way people know this is not just the regular word new. And so you can tell it's a deluxe because the normal news will have kind of a bump along here that comes along both sides right in the middle, and this one doesn't have that. And so I love, and this cool pattern on the handle is just terrific. Now this one's a little odd. It has it comes apart in 3 pieces. So we have the bottom section here, and the base plate is actually permanently affixed to this portion of the handle. And so there we go. You can see that little slot, and this one does have a serial number right here. I've looked up the date, I think, and I can't remember what it was. But there we go. So in the little tube there, these two connect like that. That's how everything works, how everything fits together. So what blade are we going to use? Something I used in the beginning of my wet shaving career, but I haven't really stepped back to the Personas as much. This is a Personna Platinum, and I've used it once already, probably last year. I wrote on it because it doesn't really have anything on the envelope. Let's see, yeah, there we go. Personna Platinum Chrome. I have pretty good results with Personas. Thank you for not falling. Okay, so you see those 4 little tabs on the corners? Those are cool because they keep the blade perfectly aligned. And it's nice that an old razor did this. Some of the newer razors have special features like that where you don't have to worry about alignment, but I love it when the old ones do too. And we just screw everything back together. We can check it, but there's just no movement there. So it is aligned perfectly every time. Alright, so that's how everything looks. And if I recall correctly, this guy shaved great. And so if it goes poorly today, it's the blade just happens not to match the razor. Alright, so the post shave for today. Decided to, this is a soapy scent, this particular soap, kind of a light citronella, but after it's been used for a while, after it sits out, it kind of loses that strong citronella scent to me, and it's just a light soapy classic soap scent. So today I went with something light as well, Grande Chypre. It is something from Barrister and Mann. It's got nice stuff for my face in it as well. It is a combo of citrus, oak moss, labdanum, rose, and frankincense. Fortunately, I don't smell the frankincense too much in here. I don't normally like that too much. All right, so that's going to be what heals my skin after the shave. All right. I think we're ready to go. So, a little pre. So Williams, it gets a bad rap because it takes a little bit to get, a little bit of time to get a good lather, if you want a good lather. I mean, for years and years and decades, men have been using Williams and just get on with it and do it. And they've probably had bad lathers, but it just worked anyway. But when you get the lather right, it is crazy snot slick. I'm being serious. And the slickness will actually rival just about anything out there, including a $25 tub of soap, a tub of artisan stuff. I'm serious about that. Now, it doesn't have the post-shave qualities that a lot of people like, and it doesn't whip up as quickly as some of those other more expensive soaps. However, it's about $1.20. You can get a crazy slick shave, and the lather is creamy and luxurious if you do it right, and it'll last you, one puck lasted me 60 shaves. If you use less lather, then you can obviously go further, but 60 shaves for a little over $1, that's pretty cool. And the vintage version, I think it's prior to 2005, has more tallow in it and is even better. All right, let us take our brush and do my usual shakedown. Shake most of the water out of the brush. Now, you know, when you make your own recipes, you could maybe leave some more water in your brush. Since I change brushes all the time, you know, I have to do something different. I have to do kind of consistent things each time, since brush sizes could be different. All right, so now I'm going to take the soak water. This is the only odd thing. Lathering Williams well is not too difficult. Number one, a few minutes of soak with a little bit of water. Put that water in here. Now, we're going to load for 20 seconds. That's not too strange. 40 is going to roll around right in 3 seconds. And so there we go. This handle is big. I'm sorry, it's just going to ding. If I were to use this brush very much, with this soap, I would probably have to reconfigure something. And there we go. That is 20 seconds. Okay, it is light and airy, bubbly. Don't make the mistake of using that. All right. That's what Williams looks like there. Now, because this brush is so big, I wasn't able to rotate as much, and so if I end up with a little bit less lather than I need, then we can probably say that was the main issue. But let's just see what happens, because I didn't want to clang and clack all the way around. You know what? Let's just do, since I feel bad about that, let me do 5 more seconds. 40 to 45 now. Okay, so that's 5 more seconds. That makes me feel a little bit better. All right, so we've already got the water in there. We're not going to have to add very much water to this lather. I think just 1 teaspoon. So this handle, the 24mm version, I did not like for bowl lathering, because once the soap gets up on this handle, it becomes really slick and hard to grab, and you have to have this Viking death grip on it to keep hold of it. And so I don't use that particular handle anymore because I'm a bowl latherer. Now, when I made my palm lathers, the soap never really got up on the handle. Did test lathers over the past week with this brush just to try to help it to break in. I never got any soap on the handle, so it was very nice. So it will likely be very different because this is the first time I'm using it to bowl lather. So at first, Williams does what it does. It's airy and light and bubbly. Here's the second main principle with Williams. Don't use the bubbly stuff and stir through it. That's all. It's not difficult, because if it has enough water, just keep stirring through it, it will get creamy and delicious. So even now, already, it's starting to look a lot better. A lot of people don't give it a fair shake because they didn't soak the puck. And so what happens if you don't soak it, you have to load for longer with your wet brush. And so maybe a minute and 20 seconds is required. Okay? And if you want to do that, you can, but I would rather let it soak, and during that extra time, I'm doing other things instead of loading for a minute and 20 seconds. Yep, just that standard soapy scent. A great soap to get and try out. Connect with your history of manly grooming habits. Odds are a good many people in your family have used Williams to shave in the past. And this lather now see, here we are. And this lather looks terrific. It's dry. See how wavy it is and pokey and all these points and stuff? It's a little dry. But this looks very different than the lather that most people say is what Williams gives them. And all they had to do was just take a little bit more time with it. So we will put in another teaspoon of water and mix and integrate that. This will smooth out a little bit. So yeah, if you are, I had an online debate with somebody and they were dissing Williams. Well, here's what it came down to. They wanted something that they could mix up in about 45 seconds. Well, Williams is just not that way. You can't get at least I haven't found a way to get this kind of lather, this kind of awesome lather from Williams in that short amount of time. And so, yeah, so we finally landed on the fact that Williams just wasn't for him. I don't think he should denounce it as a crappy soap, as a lot of people do, just because it doesn't fit his time schedule. Because, as so many people have noticed, I mean, we got tons of lather. It looks like that 20-second load would have been just fine. And yes, I've got lather all over the handle, but here's the thing. This is a bigger handle than that other one because this is the 30mm. And so I bet that's why this one's being a little nicer, easier to hold on to. All right, so let us just kind of feel the lather. Oh yeah, that's nice. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more water since I did have more soap than previously. I'm going to add another half teaspoon. And then I think we'll shave with it. So, tomorrow's the last day of the lather games. I've tried my best to present a variety of soaps and razors and blades, having a different one every day, different aftershaves. Last year I didn't have enough brushes to be singular and have unique ones, but this year I do. And this lather, just terrific, tons of it. People don't know that you can get this from Williams. And this, who knows, we'll see if this is too dry. It sure looks it, but who knows. It may be high structure enough where this is where we need to stop. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's do my usual stuff. Let's lift it up and let it do that, and then we can lift it up and shake it a little bit and get a bigger amount. Watch it drop. Yeah, that has a nice stretch to it before it dropped. I like that. Alright, so this is a messy lather because look at my fingers. It's all over everything. Okay, so we'll pre-shave to disrupt the oils as usual sometimes. Alright, now I'm going to pause you while I do a little rinse. Alright, and we're back. Let's see how this first time with this brush feels. Oh, nice. Not scritchy at all. That's good. So those practice lathers and just kind of, I just used a bar soap, you know. They did just fine. And this thing's, the ends, like most boars, the ends are going to split. And the splay is going to increase the more you use it. It's not really staying in splay right now on my face. So it's got a little bit of use to go. Now listen, if you're breaking in a boar, don't be concerned if you have to go back to the puck or the bowl between each pass. That's just kind of standard for new boars that haven't been broken in yet. So it was infuriating to me when I first was breaking in my first boar because I just didn't know that that was your normal. I thought, this is horrible. Who would want to shave this way? All right. So, Gillette Vintage New Deluxe with a platinum Personna in it. Pretty good, pretty good. It's definitely not tugging in an uncomfortable way. Gliding through the hairs pretty well. A little bit of tugging. I mean, very tiny bit. You almost wouldn't notice it really. A little bit of drag, but I got a feeling that's my oily skin. All right, so there we go. A quick rinse. And let's get some more soap for the second pass. A little bit more. This brush definitely has some more time to go. I'll see if I like this knot. I have a 30mm handle, and this is why I got this knot. I got it secondhand. I think the other person had used it half a dozen times. Doesn't look like it though. I bought this one because I have this stubby handle. It was custom made. I got it I bought a mystery box, and I believe it was, and the handle came in that. And it came with a synthetic. Well, I yanked the synthetic knot out because I didn't like it. And so I'm planning, if all goes well, for this boar to go into it. It's a 30mm handle, biggest one I have by far. If I were to put a badger in there, it would just bloom so much that I don't need that much. I wouldn't have maneuvering room because I've got a goatee. So I thought a boar might be a good idea. So we're going to see if that works out. Nice, comfortable, slick shave here. Barely feel any cutting. Those oils have been kind of washed away from the first pass. The drag has decreased on the razor. I feel pretty safe as long as I'm careful. I don't feel like I'm in any danger of giving myself a nick or stirring up any kind of razor rash. So not only is it a really nice looking piece of history, but it's just a very functional cutter as well. Just because it's open comb doesn't mean it's aggressive, and this is an illustration of that. All right, a little rinse again. Yeah, that was nice and slick. Nice and slick. And this one isn't even optimal. Gets even better than this one. The brush is kind of making it be a little different than usual because doesn't have a big bloom yet. Tons of soap available to me. I don't need all this much. Let's just kind of spread it around. I've got it, why don't I use it? The scent is not very strong. Like I said, it just translates to a soapy scent. I may have put a little bit too much water in this one, but as you can see, it's serviceable and slick. Protecting you really well. And now I'm going to go cross grain the other direction. And see, this razor with this blade allowed me to do that and didn't bring any irritation in the areas around that patch that can sometimes do that. And the soap protected me. It was nice and slick. I'm just gliding all over the place here. So no, the Williams is maybe not the best deal on the planet because you know, Prix de Provence, I like the number 63 warm spicy scent. It lasts maybe like a year. Okay. Sella you can get for $30. You can get the kilogram, and then that gives you 7 refills basically of the normal size tub. And so that normal size tub, I think maybe a 3-month supply. So that's you know, 21 months, almost 2 years for $30. So those are very economical soaps, but still Williams is among them. But of course, if you have dry skin, it may not be good for you. If you have average skin to oily skin, then it'll work fine for you. All right, so I believe that is the 3rd pass. How close is my shave? Pretty good. It's tough to find any hairs with any lengths on them in my trouble spot area. So I just see dots, and that's usually about as good as I can get, just about. All right, well, let me clean up a little bit and rinse off. So I definitely should have left it a little drier than it looked like it needed to be. I would have had a creamier experience, but this was still a very serviceable shave. And indeed, if I were a straight razor shaver, a person who likes the thinner lathers to get that ultimate slickness, this would have hit it right on the money there. So very good. And I showed you I had tons left. I have at least 3 more passes here. So we've got that going for us. This brush, this knot, since I like it and I want to really see how it's going to behave for me, I'm not going to do any kind of break-in, you know, any kind of special break-in on it, except maybe my mild break-in of just soaking it a little bit before each shave. And so yeah, it doesn't really splay too much right now, but I'm sure that will change as we keep using it. I showed you how much soap we had left over. I basically used 4 teaspoons total, with the 2.5 that went in to the bowl. To the soak cup on top of the soap, helped to soften it up just a little bit, and then the rest was added to make the lather. And I did the nice wet face. It's not drying my skin out at all. I think the people who experience a lot of dryness from this soap get that because they don't whip it up into this creamy lather that I have. It stays too dry, and so that soap doesn't have water to act on, and so it acts on your skin to dry it out. And so then that's when they have problems. And so if they were to hydrate their lather better, they would have a better face feel from the soap. And yeah, I just let it sit just like that. This is one of the few that I just leave open. And this is a Hazel Atlas mug, been around for a very long time. It's got a symbol on the bottom, almost like a Honda logo. And so this is also a vintage shaving mug, and Williams just fits exactly down in there. So let's throw on the Barrister and Mann Splash. This guy has main alcohol is the ingredient, witch hazel, chamomile extract, calendula. So a few little goodies to help your skin. Shook it up a little bit just in case it needs that. This is not a super manly scent. I got a nice shave because my technique was pretty on point. Very mild stinging, even though it's a alcohol type splash. It's very green, plant-like, if you will. Yeah, what were the notes? See what I can pick out. Do I smell any citrus? Maybe, a little bit. It's not super strong. I smell any rose? I'm happy that that's not too strong. The frankincense, I think, is coming into play. It's not strong, but it's evening things out, smoothing things out, kind of giving it an anchor point. So, yeah, that's why I kept this around. Something different. It doesn't offend. Kind of green things and a little bit of floral and anchored by the frankincense. Character building. All right, I'm going to keep packing up. So this guy's not too bad. And he's early in his life. First real shave. I just dropped him on a towel for a bit. He's a big old knot, and he's just going to keep splaying, and the tips are going to split. I'll keep doing test lathers maybe on bar soap and that sort of thing. If I do like this knot a lot, I'll just break it out of this handle, and we'll be good to go. I'll put it in my custom handle probably, and we'll be rolling. The splash settled down into something a little bit more floral after several minutes. And so that kind of challenges my enjoyment of it just a little bit. But, you know, I believe when I used it last time, I kind of came away with the same impression. I'll give it a little bit of time. See what I think. I don't have tons of aftershaves, so sometimes it's good to change those up a little bit. I believe I've shared with you everything. Really enjoyed the Razor Platinum. The Personna Platinum did really well. All right, another good shave with Williams. Hopefully we'll combat the Williams stereotype of it being a junk soap. And there we go. So tomorrow, Lather Games is the end, and it is a theme of darkness or dirty. Dirty is the main theme, and it includes darker scents or vetiver type scents as well. And so I'm going to be using Holy Cow Dark Vetiver. That was an interesting soap for me because the first time I tried it, my nose wasn't really all that educated. And so I walked away thinking, let's put this in the sell pile. And then I learned a few other vetiver soaps like Katie's Bubbles 322 and maybe Hallows and some others where I started to really enjoy the vetiver notes. And then when I revisited the dark vetiver a couple months ago, I was like, wow, I really enjoy this. So that was a learning experience for me and a way where my nose grew and started appreciating other things. And so I'm going to enjoy using it tomorrow because the Holy Cow base is very good. All of their bases really are good. They've got the new Buffalo, as well as they've got a donkey milk base and a previous tallow base, and I like them all. Unfortunately, a lot of the Holy Cow scents are a little on the feminine side, at least from my perspective, and so I don't own too many. But the dark vetiver is an exception to that for sure. Cuero Oscuro is a peppery scent that I really like from them too. Can't remember what else. Pasha's Pride, I tried that out recently. That is nice too. All right, well, here's Lather Games signing off. Hope there was something here for you. And this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care. Good night.